we watched Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
You didn't let me say 3, 2, 1 yet.
Oh, I heard you click, and it went silent. So I just sort of assumed that you.
Was that the joke
button.
you were building out?
Yeah, that was the joke.
The joke.
That was a joke.
The fact that we watched Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. I mean, the movie is a joke, but I don't know if us watching it's a joke. It's a bit sad, I guess.
No, it's homework, not a joke.
It is. Yeah, homework isn't a joke, John. We don't take kindly to that shit.
It's no G.I. Jane 2, but I get the job done.
Oh yeah, our fucking Bad Boys episodes are gonna look really weird on retrospect now. Are they?
Bad Boys 4 with Chris Rock.
Yeah, I think Bad Boys for Life should be the first post-Bay directed movies we should talk about.
Yeah, it will have been long enough from that. I think it's earned.
Yeah. Hello everyone, and welcome to Baycast, the podcast where we talk about every Michael Bay movie ever made. We are joined by a very special guest, Rennie Flan, who's also in our Pearl Harbor episode. Say hi.
I'm really moving up in the world. This is a big upgrade from that one.
Is it though? Is it? I mean, actually, I think you were in the. All right, just saying my thoughts right now. I think you were in the 2 worst Michael Bay movies we've seen so far.
We've seen so far, not the 2 worst.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten to 4.
I think as sometimes bad his style can be. I think that you're gonna have the worst time with some of the ones he's produced.
Probably.
I think there are worse out there. I think there's worse directors out there that he has involved himself with rather than directing them himself. Yeah, I think when you see the list, if you've seen the list of the stuff he's produced,
I've seen a little bit on the list.
You're gonna have a bad time with some of them.
Songbird.
At least this movie, like you're like, oh, like it's funny. Like I can laugh.
Yeah, it's a save. Is it a saving grace? Not really, but it is something about it. You can say, that movie is mildly amusing.
Dude, I am so mad right now. In case you were wondering, the processing went from 7% back to 2. I don't know how.
Yeah. YouTube pretty funky.
Upload. Yeah, YouTube's pretty fucky.
We're not on YouTube. We're on.
We are on YouTube. And that's the only platform we're on right now, actually.
We're not currently on YouTube.
Bay
neural
network.
Uploaded.
Yeah.
You uploaded to Michael Bay's microchip. His Michael chip.
Have it programmed into the people from the island.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do we start with this movie? Literally.
I don't know. John, do you have something to say beforehand?
Yeah. You have a way to start this?
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick. Unrelated.
What do you mean unrelated?
You want to talk about a certain soft drink?
So, a little while ago, Pepsi came out saying, "Hey, we're making a nitrogen brew like draft cola," and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, that hasn't really been done before for a cola, you know." So, and I never really gotten to try one of these like special like Pepsi products that seems to be like like Crystal Pepsi or something, you know. So I thought like, oh, this might be like they're kind of making it seem like this is the next thing that's probably going to be like a limited time, or maybe they'll like bring it back and it'll be like an actual like product, but like it's like it almost seemed more like a novelty thing the way they were showing it. So I figured like, oh, it's not going to be around for that long, and then they're probably going to like work on it a bit more or something, and then bring it back. I don't know. And so I pre-ordered it because there was like special pre-orders through Walmart specifically. It was like a weird like Walmart partnership. I thought, you know what, this seems like a crazy thing, like pre-ordering a soda. I guess I blindly assumed. I was so stupid. I just kind of assumed, oh, it's a thing you got to pre-order, so I should.
Silly John.
And you still don't have it.
And the product's out. You can go to the store right now.
I already bought
and just grab a can and you don't even have to buy it. You can just walk out of the store. Actually, it's a little like
I already bought a case of the regular vanilla flavor, waiting to try it with John here, but you know he still doesn't have it
and yet. It still hasn't arrived. And I thought it was weird that there was kind of radio silence on it, right? And you know, Jacob, you know, I've mentioned, it says it's arriving the only email I had on it was, oh, it's arriving between Sunday, March 20th, and then March 27th, right?
Mm.
So I was like, okay. So then like March 27th comes, the package doesn't. March 28th, still not here. I'm like, that's kind of weird. 29th, that's today. I get an email first at 10:44 a.m. as I'm on my way to my class, my very first class today. One item now arriving between Sunday, March 20th to Friday, April 22nd.
Oh my god.
Oh, no. But don't worry. Less than an hour later, 11:31. One item now arriving between Sunday, March 20th and Wednesday, March 30th. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
So should come tomorrow.
No, just kidding. Another email, 1:55 p.m. back to the 22nd.
Can I just try it? I'm tired. I can't wait for you anymore. John, it's too much.
Because what's funny is in the morning, I was specifically thinking to myself, like as I was waiting, I was like, you know what? Later today, I might like call up or something, or like try to contact their help center, just like to see if I can just like cancel it and then just go buy it. Like if I can get like a refund and then just go to the store and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do that later today. And then a few minutes later, I got the email, and I was like, oh, they actually updated me. It's coming within the next month. That's kind of bad. Maybe I really should call them now that I know it could be up to a month from now.
Yeah.
And then less than an hour later, before I even got into class, it said it was arriving for the 30th. So I was like, oh, well, I guess now they have a bit more of an exact time frame. Surely they wouldn't contact me saying it's coming the 30th on the 29th, that it's coming by the 30th, if it wasn't on its way. And then I got the other email, so I guess I should contact them now, because I don't know. I kind of want to wait until the end of tomorrow at least, because then like that was a date they told me at one point, so that's like the last chance maybe. And then I'll be like, hey, can I just get like a refund, because I pre-ordered this stupid fucking soda, and everyone else that's wanted to try it has just gone to the fucking store and gotten it, because it's just sort of a new product they have. Like they just have this from now on, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's weird.
That was a great story.
Yeah, what a great way to start off our Transformers Revenge of the Fallen podcast. That was a great story
about unrelated bullshit. Speaking of starting with unrelated bullshit,
that's a lot with the
2009 action sci-fi film directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I think that whole discussion was what the writing room sounded like.
Yeah. Or the lack thereof. Because this movie is famous for being made during the 2007 writer's strike, I believe.
2008.
2008. This and the James Bond movie Quantum of Solace are probably the two most famous movies that were made from the limitation of this. But
they're action blockbusters.
Yeah.
Oh, no fucking way.
But what the difference between this and Quantum of Solace is that at least Quantum of Solace had the decency to be the shortest James Bond movie, because they didn't have like a script at all. So they just made like a mess of a movie, but a somewhat entertaining movie out of it. Quick. This movie's longer than the first Transformers movie.
It's not just longer; it's almost 20 minutes longer.
Is it? I thought it was like a few minutes.
The first movie is, I think, an hour. Like it's the first one, not an hour. The first one's like 2:10. This is like 2:30. I think this actually might be on the dot 2:30.
Yeah, this movie is atrociously long.
And it does not earn that runtime. It meanders like a motherfucker in the beginning, and the end. Like, how do you manage that?
I don't know.
They managed it though.
This movie, like, okay. Here's my thoughts. Right. It's so incoherent. It feels like it's two movies, right? Maybe like even like five movies split into one.
10, it doesn't really matter. Just a collection of different movies.
Yeah. There's some parts that were, I would say, just as enjoyable, if not maybe a little more so than the first one. But like as a whole, this movie was just pretty fucking terrible. You?
I'm inclined to agree. I think despite the movie not really having much of a script, there are some moments where the character writing is more intentioned, not successful or good, but like you can see some amount of purpose where in the first movie it was muddled in the, oh, look, we've made a movie with the Transformers toys in it, which definitely pervaded most of the, we're talking a lot about the Autobots and Decepticons, how there's a bunch of them, they don't get any development because they're made to sell fucking toys. This movie, despite having 8,000 more Transformers in it, feels less like a toy commercial because it's more of just shitty human stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of it in this.
At the very least, makes it feel different than the first one, and then exactly the same as the other fucking three.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie's quite shit. I'm not sure if I feel like we probably shouldn't like talk about this in chronological order because there's like so much shit like. I'm not even like to talk about just like so much shit that just like happens that like it's very hard to tell a coherent story out of it. So let's just like talk about some things that interest us.
What's amusing to you guys in this movie?
So there's this one scene.
It's the dogs humping, isn't it?
No.
No. You were so excited to tell us.
That's a good way to start though.
Because you know what that happens. That happens so many times.
It happens twice. Only twice.
It happens twice more than it should have.
Yes, but
great line. Great line when that happens.
Yeah, Mojo, stop dominating Frankie. that was it. I tried to say it in the Kevin Dunn voice. I don't know how or why I remembered the actor for the plays the dad's name this time, but I did, so I'm proud of that.
Oh, wow. Good for you, Michael. I'm very proud of you.
Kevin Dunn. Kevin should have been done with these movies after one because the fucking parents are they're far worse in this. I would say
they're longer and they're worse. I think the worst scene, like not the worst scene, but like the most out of place scene is probably when Sam like first goes to college because I guess it's a pretty natural step up from the first movie because he was in high school in that one. He looks like he's like going on 30, but anyway,
he was
because he was going on 30. But anyway, so he's getting there, and his mom was fucking like she ate pot brownies, and she was just like being stupid high all the time. I was like, this is Transformers? What is this? I feel like I'm watching like a shitty college comedy movie. Like, what is this?
It literally is. The first movie had elements of being a shitty teen movie, but it was mostly not that. I mean, it had like 20 or 30 minutes of Sam, but it wasn't all school shit. It was like stuff with Michaela, stuff with Bumblebee.
Yeah. He was in school for like literally like 2 minutes in that movie, which is fine.
Yeah. We were talking about like in the first movie, the whiplash from going the Decepticon blackout, just killing fucking hundreds of guys in the military, and then it's cutting to a school. This is so much worse. It's the Autobots executing a Decepticon, and then it cuts to, I don't know for sure, but it cuts to the house, and it might be cutting directly to the dogs. I could be mistaken. It has been a little bit since I've. It's been like a week or so it's been over a week for me for sure.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I watched it, so forgive me if my memory's a little hazy. But yeah, I don't know like how they did it, but like for some reason, like the Transformers in this movie or the Autobots in this movie, specifically Optimus Prime, they're way more like fucking brutal. Like they fucking kill people. Or kill Decepticons at least.
In the first movie, Optimus is pretty chill guy. I mean, Ironhide, Jans, Bumblebee, they're soldiers, okay? Optimus is the figurehead. He's not just a soldier. He's the heroic leader. But this movie, the first thing he does, they're hunting down Decepticons. That sets the stage for the Transformer part of the plot. They're hunting Decepticons across the world because they just keep fucking showing up for some reason, which I don't know, is a little interesting. It means there's more than 5 Decepticons, which makes them more of a tangible threat.
True.
Because in the first movie, it was like, oh, the Decepticons might get reinforcements, and they might summon more of themselves with the cube. This time it's like, oh, there's Decepticons everywhere. Like, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, John. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
In case you guys were wondering, it got to 16%. which was the highest it's been. Then it shot back down to 1 immediately, which actually reminds me a lot of when I was watching this movie, because it's kind of like the Autobots. It's fine. If something's finally happening, right? It's like, okay, the plot's getting set in motion. It's great, and then boom. Snap back to reality, back to fucking 1%. Sam is in his college seminar and he's telling the professor that gravity doesn't exist, and that Einstein
oh my
is
god,
wrong,
yeah.
and that physics doesn't exist.
That's probably the worst scene. That's
just
probably
that is bad. And then he starts scrolling over the fucking walls with random symbols.
And he doesn't scroll over the Bad Boys 2 thing. Thankfully.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be
a god.
He has enough respect.
Shout out to Bad Boys 2, a much better movie, starring a great person.
Martin Lawrence is okay, Jacob. Leave him alone.
Yeah. He's cool. Yeah, Gabrielle Union's pretty cool too.
But yeah, so we're talking about like I was on about the Decepticons, the Transformers, whatnot. The first movie, most of the Decepticons are like semi-generic military men, and then there's like the cop. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. In this movie, they must have been fucking high and like shooting up just every drug possible. First Decepticon you see is a fucking giant, like literally like 200-foot excavator. I don't even know how fucking big these are supposed to be in real life, but they're huge in this movie. Turns into a robot. It doesn't have legs. It just rolls around on a fucking axis with 2 goddamn giant wheels while it swings around its fucking non-fingered claw hands. Like, imagine living like that.
I don't think the people who designed the Transformers had like their living intentions in mind. Just want to make them look cool.
Yeah, the people who designed those characters look like that in real life.
Yeah,
they're just trying to get representation for wheel. This movie has a lot of robots that have fucking wheels for feet. There's Demolishor, also known as Wheelbot, in the credits because Wheelbot, he has wheels. And there's Tom Kenny's Wheelie. We had the little fucking mafia guy Wheelie, played by Tom Kenny, who just curses and Megan Fox's leg.
Did he also voice one of the twins?
Yeah, he's the green twin. Yeah, he's Skid.
I forget which one it was, but when one of them was about to like die, or they made it look like that, Jacob and I cheered. We were actually like,
yeah, no, you were so
finally.
Can we just mention? Well, Michael Bay's always kind of been known for like his like not great stereotypes of like
not a good thing to be known for.
Of minority groups. Oh, like it's like, but like I guess I was never like it was never as blatantly obvious as it is here with fucking the twin Autobots that were with for like a good half of the movie.
Even some of the people that were like in the military were like pretty bad.
Yeah.
In the first movie, but they were only in the movie for like 5 seconds until they were murdered by the Scorpion, which, by the way, Scorponok came back. What a fucking man.
Yay.
Audience reaction to Scorponok returning, because he never died. He just got detailed.
I'm sure there was at least one like 7-year-old in the theater who was like,
me.
yes, Scorponok is back.
That was me. But, yeah, but I just want to cover the point about the robots and the robot designs, because there's not that much of the robots, so it's like good to get it over with. There's Wheelie has wheels on his feet, and then there's an Autobot who's a gray car, whose first thing is cutting another gray car robot in half, then saying, "Damn, I'm good," and then he says nothing else the whole movie. Iconic character, truly.
That's what you get when you don't have the script.
He also has wheels on his feet. Why do they have wheels on their feet?
Because they go fast.
It's all the new, and then there's the 3. One of my favorite. I told you guys my favorite thing about the first movie in terms of shitty continuity is the tank being called Devastator and not Brawl. In this movie, there's 3 motorcycles that turn into like little ladies with motorcycle wheels for legs, like a single wheel, and they're all collectively called RC, who is just one of them. Josh Duhamel's like RC, twins. So does it mean that in the movie, 3 differently colored bikes have consciousness? Like one consciousness? But then one of them dies. It's so much fucking shit to unpack with this movie. I swear.
How like the oracles or whatever the fuck they're called. Not the oracles, the primes? No. I'm not talking about Transformer. I'm talking about like Greek mythology. Those fucks that share the one eyeball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like that kind of. Yeah, the Fates. Yeah.
Did you really think that Michael Bay was thinking about Greek mythology when he was making this? Actually, you know what?
No,
He might have been. He might have.
Yeah, maybe he just watched Percy Jackson.
That came out.
Oh wait, no, that came out after this. Yeah.
Maybe he was watching like.
Sorry, it's just
I don't know.
The effects are so good.
Dogma by Kevin Smith or something. Oh.
He read Percy Jackson. He must have read Percy Jackson.
There we go.
He's a big fan.
Point to the characters, the robots. I mean, we have the twins. Like you guys were saying, Michael Bay, in all of his movies, has some degree of racial stereotyping. So we decided I should crank that up to 20, and then make them two of the more prevalent characters in the whole movie. What's the point? What's one thing about the Sam in college stuff? In the first movie, it establishes his character because it's the first fucking movie. In this movie, him going to college, the only thing it does is bring him closer to Leo Spitz, who is useless and does not need to be in the movie. And so he can get
and it
molested.
Does something else.
He gets molested by a Decepticon who can imitate human flesh for some reason.
Oh my god, I can't believe you made me remember
that. But you see,
Great scene.
The college thing doesn't play a point because he goes to college. There's like literally 30 continuous minutes. The first movie, we talked about it as if it was continuous Sam and Michaela stuff. It wasn't. This movie, it is almost entirely continuous Sam and Michaela stuff.
Yeah, it was very weird.
And after the Alice, the pretender, the robot lady, finally makes her attack, they don't go back to college. It becomes a fucking apocalypse, like it becomes like Apocalypse Wanted, like on the run movie, which is so fucking different than a college movie that it begs the question: why did I just have 30 minutes wasted?
Yeah, it literally did just waste so much time. Yeah, it was like, I have like no idea why they decided to. I guess because like they wanted like him to show that he's aging and like mature. I guess he wanted to show him. I guess the reasoning was because he wanted to have like the arc where like he's trying to grow away and not be part of the Transformers universe, but he still has to be.
Where he has to admit that he loves Michaela.
Yeah, that too. When he gets seduced by the Decepticon bot, it makes him realize that he loves Michaela even more. Which I gotta say, again, like the first movie, Megan Fox done completely dirty. Like I genuinely think that she's like a solid actress who just kept getting handed shitty material. Like why? Like I mean, I know why. She's just basically a sex object, but like, come on, come on, like she's more than that.
Well, not to Michael Bay, my good chum.
Didn't he say like in like I forgot where I saw this, but he said like the reason why like she was like he decided not to. Was she the one who decided not to be in the third movie, or was he the one who decided not to be in the third movie?
She did like on set. She was very vocal about how much she didn't like him. She thought of him as, which probably not inaccurately to an extent, kind of like a child who treated actors as his playthings, but obviously her being a woman cast because she's attractive, she felt specifically, like rooted out as like, it's borderline prostitution. And then she said something, and because she was young and probably she's dating Machine Gun Kelly, probably not the brightest person in the world. As Wheelie said to her, she's hot but not too bright.
Yeah,
that's a line by Tom Kenny's fucking strange mafia character. But she likened him to Hitler.
Oh my god!
And then Steven Spielberg just went, "No, we're firing you."
Oh my god!
So we fired her.
Yeah, well, I guess it makes sense because Spielberg is Jewish, so that is a bit of a yikes. I remember
it's an extreme comparison, but like
I mean, like he does run his sets in a pretty certain way.
It's not a thing that you should say, but
exactly.
Like,
and then she said it.
The fact that she did kind of shows, I guess, how shitty they made her feel on set.
Yeah, I remember like Michael Bay said something about like, oh, how like she's like gone through like so much like plastic surgery and makeup. She's not like Megan Fox anymore. I'm like
that was just an even more vain way to cover it up.
Yeah, like that's it's so weird, dude. Like, man, like, well, I guess his sets are known as Bayham for a reason.
Well, on the topic of,
I do.
Oh, sorry. What are
I
you
do
want
want to rewind quickly to the very beginning of the movie when I knew we were in for a bumpy ride, because right at the beginning they go. They say some shit about how it's like a Black Ops mission and no one can know about what happens here. And then, almost like it had to have been intended to be comedic, because immediately there is a massive explosion like that should probably shake the city.
Okay, John, I can
and that's only the beginning of the destruction in that scene.
I can respond to that and also bring it back to fully close the Megan Fox point. They say we don't want anyone to. They say it does feel comedic in retrospect, but it's the point of the movie after that is, oh no, people know after the after Shanghai. They're like, oh, there's some fucking shit. Like people like Leo are beginning to become skeptic. You can see the skeptics. It's supposed to be like the first movie. Do they exist? What's up with them? And the second movie is like, they've existed the whole time. People are getting skeptical. But then the Fallen fucking live stream himself asking for fucking Twitch donation of Sam on live television. And it's like, oh, I guess this is real. So it's. The point is, the first scene's supposed to be like a semi-shitty operation, and that's why they bring in the guy Galloway, because he's like, oh, I have to clean you guys up. It's supposed to be subtle, like exactly what we're saying. But then the movie just undoes it. Like, once again, that exact moment when he leaves college, it becomes a fucking completely different movie.
Yeah. Speaking of the Fallen, can we just like talk about like the titular villain of the movie? Because like, okay, like in theory, I guess he makes sense as like bigger threat than Megatron because he's just like a satellite transformer or something like that.
It's Soundwave, you fucking clown.
Soundwave, whatever.
Soundwave's more of a threat than the Fallen is.
Yeah, but A, like, okay, what was the revenge he's seeking? Like, this is the first time we're seeing him ever. And B, we also have Megatron back as also the technically main villain as well.
The Fallen is the main villain. Megatron plays second fiddle for the first and not last time.
But like, you barely even see the Fallen throughout most of the movie. He's
in the movie for a cumulative 5 minutes. 3 of those are him getting his ass kicked by Optimus, I would say. But the fact it's called Revenge the Fallen's like, he's getting revenge. We see in the 20-minute exposition dump by the old man plane transformer, the Fallen was part of a society of people who looked for energy. They wouldn't take it from planets with that have life on them. He went, no, we need energy. They just beat the shit out of him and banished him and turned themselves into a cave hiding the machine's key. So his revenge is pretty much, he was like essentially like a political revolutionary. He was ratioed out of the system. He's just been sitting on a fucking evil ship for millions of years. And he can only leave his chair if someone with the name Prime is dead. That was probably the most confusing part to me, even as a kid, is like, I can only be stopped by a Prime. Says who?
Says arbitrary plot.
If you were thrown into the sun, does that just not do anything? Like,
no.
Is it like fucking Superman, where there are very specific weaknesses, and it's
the
just
Fallen
like,
makes the sun bitch.
Someone with the word Prime in his name is the only entity that can do anything to him.
And it's like, I guess I could see it being a thing if it's like, those like special like orange fucking like glowing like blades that Optimus has. If like only Prime specifically has those.
He has 3 of them in this movie. He tripled the number of swords
no one else
he has.
really has them. Like if it was like specifically like, oh, that's a special type of weapon that
the
only
weapon
Primes
of a
have.
Prime.
And like, that's what's used. Like that would have at least been like somewhat better. But like they didn't even say that. It's just like, oh no, they just have to be named.
Honestly,
Prime.
yeah. You know, like the first movie is basically just like a MacGuffin hunt quest. It would have made more sense for this one to have been because maybe it could have been like, oh, the Fallen needs to be killed by like some sort of like secret awesome weapon like in the center of the earth. Or something.
guys. I told you guys many times that I can rewrite this. Well, anyone could rewrite this movie, but I've had like since I was a kid, I had actual ideas.
They actually did have anyone write this movie.
No one did.
Give me a sec to propose a change to this exact plot point. The matrix of leadership, which is the item used to turn on the sun machine. What if it wasn't the thing that turned on the sun machine, and the sun machine could be turned on by anyone, but the matrix is the only thing that could kill the Fallen, like it could kill Unicron in the original fucking movie?
I mean, that would have made more sense.
Thing.
Yeah.
They bring back the Matrix to be a plot device, and it's like worse. It's worse than a 1986 toy commercial. That's how much worse it is.
How bad? All the bad.
Classic.
But oh my god, it's just so much. Even just the Fallen plot. Like, I also found it hilarious that he appears. Megatron is revived. By the way, you guys didn't seem to notice or care because it's like, why would you notice or care? But when Megatron's brought back to life, he has tank treads, and he's a tank. No reason.
He became a tank in this movie.
Yeah, he became. And it's not like a real tank. It's like a fake tank where it's just him. Like, you know, as a kid. Remember, even I didn't, but I know that as a kid, people would like scrunch their arms up and pretend to be a car, like a transformer. That's what he's doing. In the first movie,
I never did that.
No, I didn't.
No. I know what you mean. I didn't really do it.
You know what you mean. You get the idea. Yeah. Oh, you've seen someone do it? Good lord. But in the first movie, like Megatron was flying around like Superman with his arms outstretched. In this movie, it's him hunkering down like a fucking armadillo. But about the Fallen, what I was saying, he's chilling on the Decepticon ship. That is a ship, by the way, not a planet. It's a ship. I believe it's a ship on the surface of like Jupiter. Never explained, by the way. But the Fallen's just sitting. You may ask, why is he sitting? Like, oh, is he too weak? Does Optimus Prime need to die for him to is his vitality connect? You know, even though it would be stupid, if they made his vitality connected to the Primes, it would make sense because the Primes kill themselves, right?
Yes,
once again, it's stupid, but it would be internally logical. No, in this movie, he's literally just sitting there because he's too much of a pussy to go out and do things because Optimus Prime will kill him. That's literally his justification for it, and that's so fucking funny to me. Like, Megatron crash lands because he was like, his GPS was wrong. Now the Fallen's just a bitch. Like, the villains are 2 for 2 in this series.
Yeah. Oh God, so bad.
I've once again, I've been going off into Transformer series tangents. You guys should get some fucking words in before I continue.
Okay.
Oh no, I mean,
you're the expert here. I think your material definitely have more value than either of ours. But
we can always add stuff in, but like I feel
bad stealing
if you
time.
Have say, I mean, you can definitely.
But, how we talk about
plenty of time.
How we talk about Wheelie for a little bit?
We talked about in passing. Tom Kenny plays Wheelie. But Wheelie's also a character from the original movie. In the original thing. Wheelie in the first movie is one of the most vile characters ever conceived by humanity. He's a weird orange guy with a painful voice filter that only speaks in fucking rhyme. He serves literally no purpose in the plot.
You serve zero purpose.
And then Michael Bay is like, okay, we're pulling lore from every element of Transformers, every name, every fucking stupid like character. The Fallen was a comic character. He wasn't even in like the original series. He was a fairly recent creation. He was just meant to be like Decepticon Satan. I think I already said it. I don't know if you guys remember. His name is Megatronus. Megatron named himself after this guy. That's how Satan he is. But Wheelie like Michael Bay's like, oh, Wheelie is the most hated fucking character from the first series, from the first movie and the first series. Let's bring him back and try to make him worse.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you say that he actually started to point the plot this time, kind of.
He does actually have,
Yeah.
It's like how Frenzy was essential to the first movie's plot. Wheelie is essential to this movie's plot because he goes to find the shard of the Allspark. Well, wait. I just had a stroke. There's 2 different Allspark shards in this movie for some reason.
God,
Yeah.
oh my God. There's so much shit that happens, but also nothing happens at all.
What happens to the second shard?
You know.
The first one, the first one is captured by the military.
Oh,
which is
wait. No,
John.
remember they steal it and they bring it back to him, I thought, and that's what helped him to get up from his chair. And it was in him, I thought.
Oh, I remember what happens. They bring the fragment to Jetfire, and that reawakens him. I'm sorry, I forgot. But there is the one that goes to Jetfire is the one that Sam has that turns his entire kitchen into robots. With one of which that has giant eyebrows and a fucking penis gun. I hope you noticed that. I hope you noticed one with the penis gun.
I did.
But good job, Jacob. Gold star. But the other one, the other Allspark fragment, because it is at least following the first movie's plot. I was surprised. But the other one's being held by the military, which makes sense. So I'd like to describe the sequence of events. I don't really have much commentary on this part other than just what it is, which I think is funny enough. The Decepticons Soundwave, iconic character, loved by many, is now a satellite. That makes sense. Not a real satellite. It's just him doing a fucking Y pose, like the goddamn Pokemon from Pokemon Y. He launches out Ravage. Oh my god. Soundwave launching out Ravage, like in the original series. That's okay. Ravage does have one eye, though. Don't see how that helps. Ravage goes to this facility. He vomits out about 1 million ball bearings into a fucking random exhaust tube.
Yuck.
Once he vomits those thousands of ball bearings of the exhaust tube, they all reveal themselves to be small robots, which then combine to form Reedman, who is a paper-thin Decepticon I will say one thing about Reedman that makes him hype as fuck, because it's not like it's already the stupidest character of all time. That's already pretty hype. But he kills a military guy. And even this movie's PG-13, obviously. But they kills him, and it's like fucking like a fountain of blood. Like Captain America 1 levels of blood. Just this one character gets to like disembowel someone. Despite not existing and being like the 5th in line of some fucking disastrous family lineage. I just want to describe that scene. Almost no input on it because it's one of the most incredible things ever written or not written.
Yeah, was it written at all? Yeah. Oh,
that wasn't
so
really. You said Wheelie, and then that went to the shard, which went to this. The way we're going through topics randomly is how this movie moves through plot points. So it's okay, guys. We're not being lazy. It's actually accurate to the film.
Yeah, come on. We're supporting Michael Bay's vision for this film. Come on, guys.
Yeah, Michael Bay's vision in this movie was very blurry, possibly drunk.
Orange.
Oh, there's a lot of sand.
Quite orange.
And people are more orange. Simmons is way more orange. Oh, Simmons comes back, by the way.
Yay.
That's the best line in the movie. We are directly below the enemy scrotum. Iconic, Oscar-worthy, perhaps.
Oh, it's so bad.
You see his fucking ass cheeks. It's where for some reason they needed a rated R movie to see Ben Affleck's ass cheeks in BVS. This is PG-13, and we see him clear as day.
Can we talk about the little plot point that makes that for the reason why Sam keeps having the freakouts in the classroom and whatever.
Oh yes, we were talking about the Allspark shard. That actually is a good point to segue. Good work, Jacob.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was totally intentional, guys. Yeah, I'm a big Transformers fan.
But yeah, he found a sliver of the cube in his sweatshirt, which also it was burnt into Megatron's fucking chest, and the only piece was held by Optimus. How to get in there doesn't matter. But he picks it up out of his sweater, and then he drops it. And then it begins to burn through his floor, which, as you said, and then it doesn't burn through his table because it brings every appliance in his fucking house alive. But by touching it, he is imbued with all of the knowledge of the Transformers.
He is the cube now. It's so dumb. Also, were there any like toys made out of like the household appliances from this movie?
Motherfucker, I'm glad you asked. Ejector the toaster.
Oh
Look
my
it
god.
up. Outclass ejector. Turns to a toaster, has 4 arms, opposable giant goblin jaw. It's magnificent. I own it. It broke. I still cry about it.
Oh my god.
Because that small tangent on top of my millions of large tangents. The toys they made for this movie were overcomplicated to hell. Everything had millions of ball joints and fucking hinges. Nothing made sense. Don't give any of this fucking toy line toys to your kids. They'll give them a fucking aneurysm.
Were there any from the movies that were actually like good?
The first movie had a few good ones because, oh my god, I was gonna go in a full rant. You know what? I'm more double down. The first movie toys were kind of crusty because the designers were used to building toys making toys from Transformers Cybertron, which is a series where all the designs are very large, bulky, blocky, kind of similar to the G1 designs in that sense. But in the movie, they're all fucking spindly, sharp, angular pieces of shit that look like they turn into anything because the car parts are so deformed. So they were kind of struggling to make movie designs from this blocky engineering, which paradoxically made a bunch of really good blocky toys. And then by the second movie, they decided, no, we've got to make them accurate. And that's when it hit the fucking fan.
Gotcha.
That's like, what, 5 tangents in a row? And we were talking about the knowledge of the cube. Right. Jacob, John, talk about his knowledge of the cube and what it does to him in college.
Oh,
please.
What doesn't it do?
The freakouts.
I'm saying what doesn't it do?
What doesn't it do? Or it doesn't
so much.
Save Michaela from trying to break up with him a few times and failing.
For good reason too. By the way,
it's like Amazing Spider-Man 2. I break up with you. I break up with you.
Dude.
How do you even describe that one scene?
Which one scene?
Well, okay. Well, to start off with that scene, what the fuck is his name? Oh my god.
Leo Spitz?
Wait. Rainn Wilson.
Leo?
Yeah.
Ray. Okay, Ray.
The guy from Friends or The Office, whatever. They're all the same show. So he's basically like Dr. Jones in the Indiana Jones movies, where every fucking woman is infatuated with him. Every one of his students is infatuated by him. Except Wilson, he's Rainn Wilson, and he's not an attractive person.
That Apple scene is so bad.
That whole sequence might be the worst.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Something about it.
It begins in a class, and we're brought to this.
Imagine you go into class, right, and your professor takes a bite of an apple, and then he drops it like kind of rolling it towards just a random student, and is like, "Yeah, why don't you go ahead and finish that off for me?"
It's not even fake seductive. Insane. It's just confusing.
And he's not even one of the people in the movie that's insane because of Transformers or something, or touches a shard or something. And no. He's just like that.
Everyone in this movie is insane, which I respect for one of the few threads of consistency that everyone acts like a fucking maniac, which makes even Josh Duhamel, who's the straight man in the first movie, is like a cartoon character now. Everyone has been not even flanderized; they've just been bastardized, which kind of adds to the wonderful, crusty nature of it, because no one is unscathed by this movie's non-writing. Like Rainn Wilson, he's apparently kind of a dick, but people like him in The Office, so let's put him in this movie, and he plays someone more insane than Dwight ever was.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But anyway, we're getting off track here. So the reason for that scene.
Where's the track?
There's no track. The reason for that scene is just because I guess it took a while for that cube to settle into him, but he just fucking went full on like Requiem for a Dream, like acid trip mode there, and just had all the knowledge of the universe bestowed upon him, and he. I have to admit, this is like Shia LaBeouf's. This is definitely his acting pinnacle right now.
Admittedly.
Yeah. He goes absolutely batshit insane, and I guess it teaches, quote unquote, teaches the class for Ray Wilson, and he
teaches the class how Einstein's wrong.
Yeah. It's so weird.
I have one very specific note about it that really fucking baffles me. Like, I mean, the whole scene's baffling. I mean, I know, we know, you know, but in his ramblings, he mentions Sentinel Prime Expedition, which is the plot of the next movie. They actually had
oh my god
a fucking crumb of continuity, but it's also dumped on you in a scene where Shia LaBeouf's like climbed on this fucking place.
Yeah, like where he starts like stuttering and spitting all over the floor.
Like Starscream.
Yeah. But, they're like twins.
The twins? Oh no,
I said they're like twins, not the twins.
I know. I just.
Well, let's just not mention the twins ever again, please.
Yeah, actually no, we can't. They turn into a fucking ice cream truck. 2 people become an ice cream truck. How the fuck does that work? Why would they do that? Why would they consciously do that? Sorry, my bad.
I don't fucking know.
It's especially bad. There's so many things, just even the little details, like the twins becoming a single ice cream truck. Pretty fucking weird. The fact that in the beginning of the movie, the Strike Force is sent to hunt down a Decepticon. The Decepticon's like 300 feet tall. How did he hide? What was he doing? Why did they execute him? He's just vibing. Like we said, Optimus Prime literally executes. The guy just starts flipping cars, driving through Shanghai, normal Decepticon stuff. Optimus Prime is like, any last words? This guy starting the plot of the movie in
Eddie.
actual... Eddie, the Fallen is coming. No, in like actual cartoon fashion, he's like, this is not your planet to rule. The Fallen shall rise again. And then Optimus just goes, not today, and executes him in cold blood. Yeah, I said Optimus Prime just becomes not just a murderer. He was already kind of a murderer in the first movie. He killed that Bone Crusher guy. But now he's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Every single fight, he goes for the head without fail.
Never forget the character assassination in this movie when talking about like character assassination in other movies. Because this is really bad.
Prime.
Yeah, Optimus Prime in the Transformers saga.
In the first movie, he's okay. Yeah.
Why are those people walking on the air?
Oh my god, that scene was hilarious.
Oh yes. Oh my god. Okay. I had to point it. I pointed this out to John. This is like a little later in the movie when they're like in the desert. Because of
it's actually an hour and a half later, but whatever.
Because of Michael Bay's like really shitty like lighting and like it's like framing of the shot.
Exposure. It was really bad exposure that made
it made it look like
wall look like it wasn't there, and they were just running on the sky.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Speaking of the sky, let's go to just random points, because I feel like going off of what you guys are saying is more fun than going off of what would make sense. Mm-hmm. Sam dies. Sam is killed by Megatron. Yeah, and he goes to Transformers Heaven, where he meets the visage of the dead 13 Primes who bring him back to life. So he can bring Optimus back to life.
What's crazy about that to me is that technically, right? Technically, I'm just saying the Fallen weren't able to do that. So power scaling wise, what if Sam can just keep doing that? What if he's unkillable? What if he's technically stronger? And the movie does nothing to make you not think that.
Yeah, with how bad the fucking humans being put into the scenes with the robots are, you'd think that the robots don't exist because they don't. It's like
they almost don't pose too much of a threat because they're like, oh, we can't actually really kill Sam yet because he's
the Decepticons land like in like an army of Decepticons land so they can capture Sam. Like
they need a whole army.
Remember this part where he summoned his army? He destroys a single fucking military tanker for no reason. That's what he does his live stream. How does he do that? I guess how does he? There's so many other questions I could be asking besides why. How can the Fallen fucking stream to all devices on Earth?
Maybe it was because Joker did that in The Dark Knight, released a year earlier, and Michael Bay just thought that was really cool and wanted to do it.
Almost assuredly.
And then Matt Reeves saw Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen and thought, wait, that's pretty good.
Fallen is an iconic villain in the life.
Yeah, Michael Bay's a blueprint.
But he summons an army where you see a guy knock an American flag off of a bridge for no reason, which is pretty funny. But the point I'm going to segue into, because why the fuck not? What else do you have to lose at this point? Subscribers? You shitting me? But
you guys won't unsubscribe.
I mean,
you guys won't unsubscribe. I know you won't.
They won't. But
they just can't.
What they're capable of doing, though. Oh, don't be incapable of doing it. Be capable of doing that. But
do it, you little bitches. I don't care.
Fallen army. Oh yeah, the guy knocking the flag off. This movie has a lot more Transformers in it on both sides, but the Decepticons are almost all clones. The guy who knocks off the American flag is of a character Mixmaster. He turns to a cement mixer. There are 4 Mixmasters in this movie. Just one example. 4 of them. One of them brings Megatron back to life. One destroys that American flag. Another one is the head of the Devastator. And the 4th one is killed by Jetfire. Just one character model. Yeah. Bone Crusher's back. He died. There's a gray Blackout. He died. It doesn't matter. They're just reusing models because it's more cost effective. Why have that many more Decepticons? There's for every fucking reused garbage model of like someone who's either died or will appear in the movie 5 more times, there's also like 7 generic Decepticons, which why didn't they just use more of them? I don't see an issue with that. Right? Yeah. There's just a bunch of gray guys. I mean, yeah, it's boring, but like they don't have vehicle modes. When the Decepticons are coming to Egypt, by the way, the last half of the movie takes place in Egypt, so get used to the color yellow.
Yeah.
You see not just the Bone Crusher design, but you see him in a vehicle mode. He landed in the middle of the desert. Where the fuck are you gonna find a mine-sweeping truck in the middle of the desert?
Oh, you know.
Like, continuity of this movie's fucked.
I feel like oh, sorry, go.
I was quick. Let's actually quickly. Simmons has like a layer full of his Transformer stuff because he's bought in the plot for a semi-reasonable reason where he knows some of the history stuff about the Transformers. He just didn't tell them because plot convenience. You see Frenzy's head in a jar, which is supposed to be like, oh, he helped kill Frenzy. Frenzy's head is the only part of him that was destroyed. He died because his head was destroyed by his spinner in the Bad Boys 2 sequence.
Yes.
So of course, when you see a trophy, it's the head. When it could have just been the body, and it would have. I'm sorry, Jacob. You can go ahead.
I just wanted to mention. Okay, so I would say this movie, other than like being like segmented into like so many shitty side plots, it's like really like. I would say it's really like split into 2 movies. One is like the pre-desert sequence when he's in college. And I guess like the kind of like sort of build up, and then it comes to like a head of like the forest scene where Optimus Prime dies. And then like the last part is like in the desert, which is just boring as fuck. In my opinion, here's what I think they should have done. Instead of making this into a one boring ass 2.5 hour movie. Since they didn't have a script, they could have like split like the first part of the movie, the same part, into 2 movies, make them like 80 to 90 minutes, just make it mostly dumb action throughout all of it, and then I think people would have enjoyed that way more than this movie. Thoughts?
You're dancing around the problem.
Maybe, but like at the same time, yeah.
Well, I guess the problem is
just wait till the writers come back. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they could have, but money.
3 is not a great movie, but it is way more fucking consistent than this. So when the writers actually return, I could say that they're writing an Oscar screenplay over here, but this movie is an outlier even among these movies and how
not writing Belfast.
No, it's fucking not. Transformers 5 is actually less coherent than this.
You think?
And that movie has I don't think. It is. Like, this movie, you said that you'd split into 2 movies. I agree. So to split it into beginning of the movie, end of the movie, kind of. But I would make that distinction even sooner. I would say the first part of the movie is working with the Transformers, trying to hide the truth with Nest and the Autobots and stuff. Sam in college. I would say that movie ends like... Actually, we said it ended with the forest scene, right? Or did you say it ended...
Yeah, around the forest scene.
Yeah, I would say it ended exactly during the forest scene because the college stuff ends once they kill the Pretender, and then the forest scene happens.
The Pretender.
That's what it's called. It's called.
I know. I forgot.
We're gonna call it actress Isabel Lucas. This is character. No, the Pretender is the stupidest name I could call it. It's the correct name. I mean, even then, that's already like Transformers, the original series, is already just stupid shit to sell toys. No getting around that. They decided Transformers weren't cool enough. Let's give them ugly fucking giant plastic shells that are like it's supposed to be organic, and then you stick little tiny fucking stupid robots in there. That's not sound great. Not at all destroying the fun. Not in the go, but like there's one where it's the guy. It's like a human being with 2 heads, and you open it up and like bumblebees inside.
Yeah,
seriously, that's a real thing. I'm pretty sure exactly as is. And then Michael Bay once again is like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I need it in my movie.
Yeah.
And then he fucking did it, the maniac. It's like one of the most reviled parts of Transformers, and of course it has to be in this movie if it's reviled. Like Wheelie.
Yeah, like Wheelie.
like Wheelie.
I mean, I'm just saying, this movie has to take a lot of things from previous iterations, or at least from the originals, not from the original series, like in a meaningful way, just in name. But the character Jetfire, who I think is probably he's both one of the worst and best parts of the movie because he's actually funny, but then he also talks for 15 minutes about the fucking plot, which is not cool. And his thing is, in the original series, he's a Decepticon plane man. You know, he's earnest in intentions, and he realizes Decepticons are bad, becomes a robot. That's actually what he does. They actually kind of captured an essence of the original character. I mean, of course, now he's a fucking crusty British beard man who's like, oh, my ass, Felix, oh, my fucking aft. Like, every 5 seconds, he shits out a parachute. And then he sacrificed himself by tearing out his own heart. I don't know if you remember that. Scorponok like kind of screws with him, and he just like fatalities his own ass. Like, bro, what the fuck? You could have just had him die of damage. No, he has to. Oh yeah, and then also my favorite character in the movie, second favorite character besides Reed Man, is Jolt. In some scenes, only 1 or 2, you can see a blue car, part of the Autobots.
Who the fuck is Jolt again?
He's a blue car. He has no speaking lines. He is seen in 2 scenes as a car, 1 scene as a robot, or 2 scenes actually. At the end of the movie, Optimus Prime was revived, but he's very weak. Jetfire has sacrificed himself. This no-name character Jolt takes his fucking like electric whips and makes like super powerful jetpack Optimus, which also Jetfire sticking himself to Optimus's ass is from a previous series. If it sounds like the stupidest thing you could possibly think of, it's because it already existed and Michael Bay just made it worse. But this no-name character saves the fucking day, which is hysterical to me. Like, did you know there was a blue Autobot called Jolt before I just said it?
Blue? No.
Blue. Exactly.
There are no blue Autobots.
There's none.
Optimus Prime's red. Optimus Prime's red. You see.
Speaking of Autobots, can we talk about the inconsistency with Bumblebee real quick?
Yeah.
So, I guess Bumblebee's like usually he's a character who's like known for like talking like through the radio, which I guess is like a
Jacob. These movies started that.
Oh, they did.
That's not actually like.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting.
These movies ruined Bumblebee forever. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So, in these movies, I'm sorry, or at least in the first movie, Bumblebee talks through the radio, which I guess even though like. Okay, yeah, they did start it. I think that's like a somewhat cool way of like making it like the whole like combining cars with machines thing.
It's an okay idea. I see.
They say how like his voice module's broken, but we're gonna fix it. And inexplicably at the end of the first movie, it's just fixed, and he can talk at the end of it, even though they never mentioned they fixed it. Yeah. But then in this movie, he's just talking to the radio again, because I guess that's cool and it's funny. I guess that's awesome. Or just broke again.
I told you during that scene in the movie, because I was trying to explain it then too. There was a deleted part of the first scene in the house where he speaks. They deleted it. Why? Why would you do that?
The movie's too long anyway.
I guess, yeah, that's the more extraneous part of the movie. I mean, really, getting this movie is useless. The middle of the movie, there's like a 15-minute period where it's sick as fuck, and then it just goes back to sucking.
Mm-hmm.
Like Optimus Prime ganging up on 3 Decepticons. Pretty rad. In like the kind of like, Optimus, you're a 13-year-old boy, testosterone, like that kind of way. Pretty cool. Then he dies. It becomes boring again.
Yeah.
And I also love how he's dead, but they keep hauling his ass to different locations. So they just airdrop him from like 20 feet unceremoniously, like a fucking bag of potatoes, when it's Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots, kind of important guy. They just treat his body like a chunk of metal, I guess.
Maybe it is a chunk of metal.
He calls someone else a piece of tin after he tears their face in half. He calls Megatron junkyard. He calls Megatron junkyard scrap as he breaks his ankle. He proclaims, "Give me your face," as he rips off the Fallen's face with his own staff.
Oh my
Optimus has some really good lines in this movie.
Dude, it's so bad.
Like in the beginning, I was saying he's nice in the first movie, and he's kind of nice some of this movie. He does execute that one guy, but that's because he's part of the execution squad.
He has to.
But yeah, he tries
out
to
of his hands.
He tries to be all poetic in the beginning. He's like, "Sam, fate rarely calls upon us at the moment of our choosing." When he's like, that's when he's trying to gaslight Sam into joining him, so he can not be like kicked off of the planet by Galloway. But then Sam's like, "No, I'm gonna go to college," and then Optimus dies, and Sam thinks that's his fucking fault. It's not.
Yeah.
It was Megatron's fault for cheating.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so bad. I just keep saying it. It's so dumb. It's so bad.
It's so dumb. What else is there to say about this?
I don't know. Let's talk about John Turturro real quick.
Enemy scrotum, still great. He keeps proclaiming, "One man alone, betrayed by the country that he loves."
Yeah, because he got fired, I guess, for being a bad job. Yeah. He was pretty funny in this. Like, not always.
He's ironically hilarious. Like, he's actually the most entertaining because he does the stupidest shit consistently. The scrotum line, the random useless underwear scene is like
Oh my god.
It's effective shock humor. I was shocked.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I gotta give John Turturro credit for
something.
actually putting himself in this movie and doing that, I guess.
Yeah, the first movie, he gets to be funny for like a scene. But he's kind of a scene stealer, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And then
him and Sam's college roommate have a bit of a
Leo's
romance going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish the Leo
Pretty
was
cool.
in the series more. No, I don't. He's useless.
Yeah. Man, so weird. A little fun fact for you about John Turturro. John Turturro was allowed to climb the pyramids during filming in Egypt. At one point, he simply broke down crying when Michael Bay questioned him. He said, "You just don't get to do this in movies. You don't get to shoot in a place that's 4,000 years old." And you know what? Good for him. He had to climb on the pyramids.
He also got to say, "I am directly below the enemy scrotum." On
He did say that as well, you know?
That was what he said on the pyramid, following the Devastator. Which, by the way, great creature. Like 8 fucking construction vehicles get glued together and make a fucking vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, it is a pretty interesting amalgamation of Transformers, I guess.
Again, Devastator is something from the series, but it's like 6 guys that exist, and they combine only when it's necessary to just fucking destroy stuff. They're like, they're people, and combining makes them kind of like, it's like a mindless, like Hulk-esque thing. In this movie, they're just a bunch of vehicles. I don't even know if they have robot modes. They probably don't. And then Megatron, we were talking the first movie, Megatron gave us the biggest laugh where he just said Megatron. Megatron, this movie, after Devastator is...
Sorry, it's still funny.
I am Megatron, and then when he lands, Megatron. In this movie... Also, Megatron can speak full sentences in this movie. Good for him. I guess that's what getting tank treads does to a fellow.
That's literally just like if I joined this call and I was just like, Flan.
They should do that from now on.
Yeah, that's how I introduce myself in calls from now on.
But
Jacob.
after the Devastator is formed, he's standing on a pyramid. You hear off in the distance, Devastator.
Oh wait, yes, it is. I noticed that.
It's not as funny, but it's still funny. It is still funny.
I do wish it was a bit louder.
Yeah, if we got to hear that, like imagine also, the IMAX like
that
Devastator
fucking
noise.
Railgun, like where has that been all this time?
But one of the funniest inexplicable things, Simmons calls a random fucking not air. What are those things called? Like a tanker, like those things that carry planes.
Aircraft carrier.
Aircraft carrier. Thank you. And he's like, "Hello, I'm Simmons. I'm part of Sector 7. I need your railgun, the prototype railgun." The what? The prototype railgun? And then he talks to like one of the weirdest extras ever, just very strange cadence. Like I said, everyone in this movie is insane. That guy's pretty fucking insane, I would also say. And then after all the build-up, the Devastator, they think it kills one of the twins. I'm sorry, I referenced the twins again. We weren't supposed to do that, but the twin, one of the twins almost gets eaten. He got all ate up, and then he doesn't die because God is cruel. But the Devastator just continues climbing the pyramid. Simmons calls the guy, and it happens over the span of the whole action scene. But the long and short of it is, Simmons calls the guy. He's like, "There's a problem here. Can you get the railgun to take care of it?" The guy's like, "No." He's like, "Yes." And then the guy's like, "Okay, yes." And then he says, "Where are you?" Directly below the enemy's scrotum. That's the coordinate he gives. He could have given him like an actual coordinate, but he says directly below the enemy's scrotum, which doesn't mean anything to anyone more than 5 feet away from him. And then calls in the railgun blast, and the Devastator is destroyed. What a great fucking sequence.
Yup. Absolutely excellent.
It's just what there's so much bullshit. And then the Fallen appears in the final battle super late.
Yeah, like 2 seconds.
Sam dies, comes back to life. The Matrix reforms. By the way, it was dust the whole movie. Forgot to mention that. Doesn't fucking matter. But the Matrix is reformed. The Fallen appears. He steps on like 5 people. He punches Optimus in the face seconds after he comes back to life. What a dick. takes the Matrix, saying, "My Matrix." It's never yours, but whatever. Teleports back to his pyramid. Oh, by the way, I thought he could fucking teleport. I just remembered that. Isn't that weird? That he can teleport? Jetfire teleports. How am I just not remembering this? That people could teleport in this movie. What I'm saying, Fallen goes, Optimus gets the jet parts glued to him. He goes to the pyramid. He blasts half of Megatron's face off. And then he rips the Fallen's face off in about 3 minutes. That's the main villain is in the movie for less time than the ice cream truck is. You know, I mean, if I sound exasperated, I am. It's not from ranting. It's just from thinking about this movie. It gives me a fucking headache.
Yeah, can you really blame a man who thinks about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen?
I told you, I've thought of this movie more than any person ever should, and I think it's weighing on me finally.
Oh, God, dude. Oh, it's so bad. This is like the 5th time I said it. Yeah.
Other fun things. Okay, the party scene at college lasts about a minute. They play. I always thought this was a very amusing set of music. You guys didn't seem to find it funny.
Wait, we haven't even mentioned the actual good joke in the movie.
Okay. Actually, that's right after.
I'll mention that.
There is one legitimately very funny joke that is like entertain. Like, okay, but they're in the party. Sam's in the party, and he's supposed to be video chatting Michaela to earn her love and trust. And he's at a party because Leo fucking essentially forced him to go because Leo's a great guy like that. And then he gets hit on, borderline molested by the Decepticon. In the party, the 2 songs they play, a grungy, edgy cover of Talking Heads' "Burning Down the House," already pretty blasphemous.
Really?
Followed by Nickelback.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
In the span of like a minute, and then they go out. There's a hilarious scene where Bumblebee lubricates on the woman. But by the way, you're being this like Victoria's Secret model, and Michael Bay sprays you with fucking viscous yellow fluid. Like, not cool.
Goop.
But there's 2 random bully guys.
There's like these frat guys, and Sam, they're like being like an asshole. Actually, no, not even being assholes. Like the car is just parked on their lawn, so they're like, "Hey, what the fuck is the deal here?" And Sam's like, "What? Wait, what the fuck did he say?" He's like, "Oh, he couldn't find a tighter shirt."
There is no tighter shirt. We checked, and they fucking fist bumped. Like,
there isn't a tighter shirt. We checked, and it's like not even like that tight of a shirt too. It's just like, oh my god.
It's as tight as they can have it.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't a tighter shirt. I mean,
they checked.
And then they fist bump like a fucking like
and then they never show up again.
They're the best characters, and they're not the rest of the movie.
They're the only good human characters, and you know what? I'm glad that they were only there for that, because if they were there for longer, they probably would have been bad.
I guess so. They would have been like the twins. The twins are always bad. The twins, okay. We said we weren't going to talk about them. Fuck it, we're talking about them right now. Because what else? What other ground are we
do we have to?
Yes, we do. There's 2 guys. One of them, they have big arms, long heads. They're like black racial stereotypes. Like, the beginning of the movie, they're in Shanghai setting up the scene, which I like the score to this movie. The score to this movie, I don't know where I got that from, but it's Steve Jablonsky, and it's interspliced with the Linkin Park song from this movie, which makes for a fairly interesting score.
It's kind of like the Batman with Michael Giacchino, where he basically based his entire soundtrack off of Something in the Way, but this one it's the Linkin Park song that's from this movie.
New Divide from Linkin Park. But they're setting that music is playing. They're setting up with the military men. They're going on a hunt. It's actually a fair, like, until Ironhide says he's here, I smell him. It's like a fairly okay scene. You know, it sets the stage. It gets shows where the characters are, and then you see a fucking pink and white ice cream truck from like the 1950s with "Decepticons suck my popsicle" written on it, and it's like then you're brought back to the reality of the movie very quickly. That you were watching a movie where there is an ice cream truck that says "Decepticons suck my popsicle," and then they're chasing a Decepticon. They fail because they're idiots, and then it's revealed that if you haven't seen the movie, you don't know about them. It's two guys. One is the front half of the truck. The other is the back half. How does that
work? More than meets the eye.
But we're more to them than meets the eye. What I've done.
Also, another fun fact about I guess this isn't really so much about this movie, but when they decided to call this movie Revenge of the Fallen, I think they were thinking about making it like Star Wars, where they would retitle the first movie into have its own subtitle. And the subtitle they were thinking about was Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. So that's kind of interesting, I guess.
It's not interesting. It's in Transformers, there's been 2 different series called More Than Meets the Eye, comic series. There's been 3 different series called Robots in Disguise. They're running out of fucking good names. That's why you come up with shit like Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and The Last Night. Is when your series has magical
Rise
names
of the Beast. That's the next one, right?
That's actually that might be the worst one. No, yeah. Revenge of the Fall. No, Dark of the Moon's probably worse. But
Revenge of the Fallen has names, so you can laugh at and have a decent time, I think, watching it with people. I think Rise of the Beast, is it?
Yeah.
Was Dark? Yeah, that one.
Oh, Rise of the Beast hasn't come out yet.
Oh, that is coming. Oh yeah, Dark of the Moon, I think, is bad.
The title.
The movie.
I think it's my favorite of them.
I might be thinking honestly. Of the wrong one. I just remember that one of the ones is unwatchable.
That's 4.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
4 is unwatchable. It's also almost 3 hours.
Oh my god. Dude, we have so much more left to do.
It's one thing to make a shitty little Transformers movie and throw it in the theaters. No one is gonna go watch it if it's almost 3 hours.
They did. I made over $1 billion.
Made $1 billion.
What?
Transformers 3 made almost $1 billion.
What year did that come out? What year did that come out?
2014. I think it's the highest
people were on
that
something
year.
in 2014.
I think it's the highest.
I think it was a good chunk of it was Chinese and Asian markets.
Yeah, because it is the most pandering movie. You could be Godzilla panders to Japan or Pacific Rim. No, Transformers 4 panders so fucking hard. That spoilers for Transformers 4, minor, very minor. They just go to fucking China. There's Joshua Joyce character. It just heads to China, and one of the Transformers says, I'm going to say this a lot.
Did Cade Yeager go to China too?
Cade Yeager also goes to China because everyone has to. Cade Yeager goes to 5 different fucking countries in 5 though. It's a real.
I can't wait to watch the escapades of Cade Yeager in Transformers 4.
Cade Yeager is one of the worst protagonists ever, ever. Fucking abhorrent. Sam is shitty, but I find an ironic charm to Sam. The what size shoe you wear in this movie. I have a little pop-up book on the damage of the brain damage in football players. He will sometimes be a little funny. Cade Yeager is always bad, and that's what makes him so great.
I'm so excited to watch it.
The next one is Transformers 3, and that I kind of like this movie. It's terrible, but it is more watchable than this. And even though it's the same ridiculous length, I don't know, it keeps things a little bit more fresh, I would say. The Sam meandering without Transformers being on screen is a little funnier. Oh, don't look up the cast, but there's a lot of really.
I already know of a couple of them.
You know of a few of the random big ass actors in this.
Yeah, who just for some reason decided to be in this movie.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But this movie, all you get is fucking Rainn Wilson.
It's so bad. Oh man. Yeah. Do you have anything else specific you want to discuss about this movie?
No.
No, Venom. Get in the rocket. No.
Venom.
I don't.
What the fuck is the name of that dumb space drill at the end that's in the pyramid?
What?
The thing that's gonna destroy the planet.
With the sky beam and shit.
The sun harvester.
Yeah.
Venom.
They harness the power of the sun. Oh my god, it's so bad. 6th time, I think. I might have said it more, actually.
There's very little to think with this movie outside of why, what, and this fucking sucks donkey dick.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. At least Sam and Michaela finished their arc and they said "I love you," even though Megan Fox didn't even.
I was going to talk about that. That's a perfect way. That's a perfect point to end because I was going to talk about that earlier. The whole arc is Sam and Michaela dealing with relationship issues, and Michaela and Sam realizing they truly, earnestly love each other, and even through what they experienced with the Transformers, they'll always be together. Fucking recast.
Yeah. Well, not recast, just exits the movie.
Replaced. There is a wonderful part in the first 10 minutes of the third movie. Wheelie goes like, "Oh yeah, Michaela, she didn't respect your space." Like what? Huh? Why?
What?
They could have just like there's some random one-off line that tries to explain why she's not there. It just brings more attention to it. It just makes it stupider.
Yeah.
Inconceivable. God. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Then the next one is going to be 3. I think that's probably going to be. We might have Matt on again. Matt was interested in either this or 5. John, I'm assuming you don't want to do 3, or.
You know, okay. I actually. When is that?
So 3 is the next movie.
I'm sick that day.
Yeah.
Point
you know,
taken.
bad case of I'm planning on watching the open season trilogy that day.
Quadrilogy. There's 4 of them.
Quadrilogy.
No.
You forgot open season scared silly.
No. Nope. Just 1, 2, and 3.
Dude, not a true fan.
You only want to watch the first 3, now the 4th. What are you? Me thinking about which Transformers movies anyone should ever watch? Which actually, no, that's false. You shouldn't watch any of them. But
by the way, since we're getting towards the end here, right?
We've ended like 5 times, so yeah.
Oh yeah. So little progress update on the runs upload.
The download.
Just so you can see what I've been going through this time. So this is, I think, attempt number 5, and it is getting pretty far. Now it's just processing HD version, which can take a while sometimes. It got past the checks in literally 20 seconds, not even. It was like laser fast. The uploading and the standard definition processing took for fucking ever. But it might actually finally go up. so out with the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen and end with just happiness. Now that we've gotten it out of our systems,
joy.
Everything is getting better. I bet the Pepsi is outside my house right now.
Dude, you're making me I'm suffering withdrawal from a drink I never had, dude. I have to have it.
All right. I mean, I think we've brought it full circle.
Yeah. Just one little
existential breakdown over this garbage movie.
If one of you fine gentlemen want to check what I said in general, then we can probably close this out, I think.
One little piece of trivia before we leave. Okay, so attending a preview of the film, Steven Spielberg is reported to have said upon seeing Devastator in Operation Firestorm, and I quote here, "That is fucking awesome." Michael Bay was proud of the fact that he could make the normally well-mannered Spielberg swear.
Oh, Steve.
I'm glad Spielberg liked it. Yeah. You got snubbed for West Side Story, bud. Hashtag West Side Story Street. Hashtag fuck Coda.
Damn, we're really dating this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing of note happened in the past few days after we recorded this.
Nothing at all. Well, hopefully in the next few days, our good buddy John gets his nitrous Pepsi.
Yeah, feel better too. Yeah. I know you'll be sick in a week's time or something like that.
Yeah, in roughly a week time, exactly when we will record episode on Transformers: Dark of the Moon 2011 film.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Watching it. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to us. Have a
subscribe to Running Flan.
Breakdown.
Oh yeah, big time. Subscribe to the runs.
Subscribe to us or don't.
Episodes coming out over the next
care.
2 weeks. We went on a little bit of a break because piece of shit James
Yeah, what an asshole.
Is that his title now?
Oh no, he doesn't get a title. No.
Fuck! Wow, that's real hate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Despise the guy. Anyway, have a very Baycast day.
I have a very. I can't top that.